Good day everyone, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, please don't waste time. Help us subscribe and also click on the notification bell so that I can get all notifications from us. My name is stastitics and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's topic is the effect of rape and recovery from the after effects of rape. Now for us to go on to define, for us to go on to explain this topic, we must define the term or the concept rape. Rape is a Latin word which when pronounced is pronounced as repairing. And when translated to English, rape simply means snatch, to grab, to carry off forcefully. Now you see these three terms, snatch, to grab, to carry off forcefully, involves taking without what? Consent. So that's what rape is all about. And as we go further to define rape, you get a better understanding of that term. Now let's go further to define the term rape. Oxford Dictionary defined rape in two ways: the noun form of rape and also the verbal form of rape. The term rape in its noun form is defined as the crime of forcing a woman to submit to sexual intercourse against her will. It's a crime of what? Forcing someone, which is usually a woman, to sexual intercourse against her will. Now, the verbal form of it goes on to explain that rape is to force someone to have sex against their wills, both saying the same thing. So you see that these two definitions of rape involve taking away by force, not asking, not giving the permission to. Is all what the term is expressing. Now, I love the Wikipedia definition of that term, rape. Wikipedia went further to define rape, that rape is a type of sexual assault, usually involving sexual intercourse or other forms of sexual penetrations carried out against a person without that person's consent. It went further to explain that the act may be carried out by physical force, coercion, abuse of authority, or against a person who is incapable of giving valid consent. And who are these people? People that are unconscious, incapacitated, or someone who has an intellectual disability, or who is below the legal age of what? Consent. Now take note of some keywords explaining this definition. One, he said it involves a sexual assault, usually involving sexual intercourse. But it's not limited to just sexual intercourse. He went further to explain that, or other forms of what? Penetrations, or sexual penetrations that is carried out against some persons or somebody without the person's what? Consent. And he went further to explain the various means to do this. It can be carried out through what? Physical force, coercion, abuse of authority, or against a person who is incapable of giving valid consent. And who are such people? We went further to explain that those that are unconscious, those that are incapacitated, those that are intellectually what? Disabled, or those below the legal age of consent. Now, take note of some things here explained. If someone is abusing his authority, for example, you went to apply for a work, and the person is trying to say, you must have sex with me, or you will not get this job. That is a rape threat. That's according to this definition, that's it. Or for example, your boss is trying to tell you that if you don't have sex with me, I will promote you or I will drive you out. That's a rape threat. It's a rape case also. Then another thing that is made clear here, that even having sex with someone who is below the legal age of consent, that act can also be viewed as what? Rape. And it's very, very reasonable because the person is not legally, it's not mentally mature to give consent. So what you can see is just deceit and have sex. So that can also be viewed as what? Rape. if you go further to look on this rape cases in the world, you find that majority of the people who are being raped are the females. Female are more vulnerable to rape than male. Out of 10 cases, you see that 7 cases are what? The victims of 7 cases are what? Usually female. And research also showed, research carried out by IDEA also shows that majority of the rape cases all over the world are usually committed or carried out by people that are close to the victims of rape. Meaning, if you are having 10 cases of rape, 8 to 9 cases of that rape are people that are very close to this particular victim of the rape. So it shows that those affected by it are close. Those that are carrying out this, those who normally carry out this act, are those that are close to the victims. Now let's take a bit. Let's go to take some statistics on rape cases in Nigeria. According to the report that the Inspector General of Police, that's Mohammed Amadu, gave us at the ending of May, it shows that between January to May, 717 cases of rape has been reported or have been investigated by the Nigeria Police Authority. And he said, out of these 717 cases, he said 799 suspects so far have been arrested, while 631 cases have been conclusively investigated and charged to court. Meaning, it's either they prosecuted them or they are still in court. But these cases are already in the court. Then about 52 cases are still being investigated. Now let's go by what he reported, because if you look at this report, and from experience and also from research, it shows that if you are hearing in the media that so and so cases are reported, you should know that the usual amount of rape victims is 3 times of what you are hearing. So if you are just hearing that as at May this year, 717 people have been raped, it means that if you multiply that by 3, that might be the actual, if not even more than that, because majority of these rape victims, they don't want to speak out, because we said it is being committed by what? Family and friends, close people. So most of it's family, they don't want to spread it out. They usually settle the issue within themselves. Others, the stigma and how people view them, they don't want fear and other things. We are going to discuss that in this episode also. They don't want to speak out. So you see that the number of rape cases reported are usually below the actual number of rape cases that we have in the country. So if we are hearing 770 cases, you know that it is usually more than that. But let's go by this figure. If we say from the period of January to May, we are having 717 cases of rape cases in Nigeria. Now let's calculate that we have 30 days in a month. Now you know February is just 29 days, so 4 months, just 30 days for 4 months, then plus 29. That will give you roughly 149. If you divide 717 by 149, you see that every day 5 persons are being raped. So we just have, according to the record here, we have about 5 people being victims of rape. You can imagine that. And if you go by the actual record, you see that, let's multiply by 3, you see that almost 15 people are being raped per day. And this figure is usually increases as the day or as the month goes by. It shows that this is really a disturbing issue that we must address and we must see ways to overcome. Now let's go to the effects of rape on its victims. I divide the effect of rape on its victims into 2 segments or 2 parts. One is the general effect of rape on its victims, and also another is the medical effect of rape on its victims. Let's go to the general effect of rape on its victims. We have the physical effect, and when we say physical effect, What do we usually mean? Remember we said rape is forcing someone on another person without the person was consent, always involve force or the use of what? Abusive authority. And we carry out this act, there may be some injury sustained. It may be as a result of trying to make the victim vulnerable so that the one carrying out the act can overpower that victim and also commit that act. Along this line, or maybe even during the process, there may be some injuries that are sustained. The person may have some bruises in his face, trying to struggle, and some other things. All these may lead to what? The physical effects of rape. And it's advisable that people who've suffered from this should visit the gun clinic, that's the genitourinary medical clinic. These are the things that easily address such cases. And also we have two here, we have the disassociation and emotional numbness. What do you mean? You see these people that are victims of rape, they don't usually want to come out to relate to people. They always feel different. They always feel being cheated. They always feel they're no longer equal with people. They cannot relate to people. And even when they are with people or with their peers or with their age mates outside, you see they always have this numbness, this physical, this being absent-minded. They will be there physically, but in terms of relating and also discussing, and also in terms of mental reasoning, they are not there. They are somewhere else, thinking of something else, thinking of that act. So you see that they are always what? Differences. They are always what? Disassociated. They don't want to associate themselves with other people because they may feel that associating with people may even lead to that act, and they don't trust people any longer. So why would they want to associate with people that they know that they can be vulnerable to and can also commit this act? These are also some of the effects of rape. And also we have the effect of rape. Another effect of rape on its victims, we have fear. Fear is another effect of rape on its victims. Why do we say fear? Fear comes in various ways. Maybe the person who victimized that person to rape, it may be that the person has threatened that person that if you report this case to any person, I will personally deal with you. I will kill you. Or if it's for example, a stepfather raping his own stepdaughter, in place of laws that if you tell your mother about this act, I will send you out of my house. Or if it's the sister to the wife, if you tell my wife this thing, I will send you back to the village. So that fear of losing what they have, that fear of saying if I should speak out, we get killed. They always live in that fear. The fear of going out to report this case to the police or speaking out to someone close to them, the person will now use that eye that this person has been raped. That stigma, the fear as a result of stigma may also be there. All these are fears that are associated with people who have been victims of what? Rape. We also have here, we have practical factors. Talking about the effect of rape on the victim, we also have practical factors. When we say practical factors, how do we mean practical factors? We mean their practical way of living their life has been changed and it may never go back as it used to be before. Now, victims of rape usually live to protect themselves because they feel they were free before and that's why they were taken undue advantage of. So they always want to protect themselves against the gender who raped them. If it's the male, they always want to protect themselves against such female. Usually it's the female, so they always want to protect themselves against male. Some will even go to extra training to learn how to protect themselves. Some always want to have that sense of urgency when they are in the midst of male. So you see them when they want to enter keke or bikes, they don't want to enter keke when they see any male. No, that thinking that something negative could happen to them will change their normal day-to-day living. Some you see them in their house, they have gun, they have short knife, they always go with so that if any such incidents want to transpire, they can easily protect themselves. So you see them having dogs around there so that they can always protect themselves. You see, their normal day-to-day activities has changed, and the way they see people has also changed. These are practical factors that can affect those who are victims of rape. We also have another effect of rape on its victims. We also have depression. This is also a medical aspect of it, but we just bring it in the general effect of rape on its victims. You see people who are being raped, they are being depressed. They don't you see them. They no longer live their life. You no longer see that joy in them. You no longer see them as being as they are. Many of them, they don't sleep at night, and the rest. You see them having what depression, thinking of that single act over and over. Then also the last that we have here, which is not, it's not the last. The last one we have here is what? Recurrent dreams and nightmare. Yes, majority of rape victims, they always have these recurrent dreams and nightmare, and it's normal psychologically, because once that attack of rape comes into the body, the system will try to accept it first, to receive it, accept it, and see how you can process it and what, before the person will now leave that stage of that fear of being raped. So during this process, the person may be having this recurrent dreams. The person tries to overcome that stigma or that incident of rape. The person will have lesser dreams and lesser nightmares, and finally the person will be able to recover from that effect of rape. Now, we'll stop here for today. This is part 1 of this topic. In our next segment, or in our next presentation, we're going to deal more on how the medical effects of rape on its victims. What are the medical effects that those who are raped are prone to get or to suffer from? We're also going to see why is it difficult for rape victims, especially those under age, to speak up. Why is it difficult? How can we, who surround these people who are suffering from this effect, how can we help? What can we do to prevent or to reduce the possibility of someone being raped, whether the victim or those around the victims? What can we do to help them? How can we help them? How can we help others? How can we help parents? How can you help your children so that they may not, or they never become victims of rape? Then how can those, very important, who have been raped, how can they recover from that trauma, from that act? How can they recover and live their normal day-to-day life? What role do they have, those victims of rape? What do they have? What role do they have to contribute to recover from that effect of rape? And how can we assist these people also to help them recover time from that incident that has happened, that may change their life forever, and their life will never be the same? But what can we help? How can we help them so that they can get back to the normalcy and they can live their normal day-to-day life as if nothing happened to them? All these are what we have in store for our next, or the part 2 of this topic. And remember, the topic we are dealing with, the effect of rape and recovering from the after effect of rape. My name is Stastitics once more, and if you are new, please do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You see the name above there. Just click on the notification bell so that you get all notice from us. Once more, my name is Stastitics, and I'm signing out for today. Thank you.